so that we can send this back out to everybody. So, hi, Alicia, how are you?
Hi, I'm good. How are you?
Good. You made it back in time, huh?
I'm about to go to physical therapy. I'm going to be driving
Oh gosh, okay.
at 3:30, so
Well, we'll sneak you in right away then.
that's fine.
Well, gosh, this is great. Well, Beverly, I don't want to put you on the spot or anything, but I might ask you to share your story with us.
That's fine.
Yeah. Awesome. Hey, well, there's Bill. Hey, Bill,
Hey,
how are you?
pretty good.
Good? Yeah? Looking good?
I doubt that, but I'm here.
Oh, gosh. I miss seeing you, buddy.
Yeah, I miss meeting in person.
Yeah. We should be getting pretty close here.
I think so.
Yeah. We'll get started in just a minute here, you guys. I just want to see if anybody else is going to join us, but I'm going to be running the men's group again too, Bill, before too long. So in June, I'm hoping to get July, get started doing that again.
You're fine. Just turn it on.
Okay.
That'll be fun. Let's see, I said that's wrong.
Hi, Debbie.
Well, let's give it just a couple more minutes. How's everybody doing? I mean, overall.
Good as can be expected.
Yeah. Beverly's from North Carolina. What's the weather like there?
Right now we're having storms, so if I get cut off, it's because of the thunderstorm that's there right now.
Yeah.
But it's hot and muggy.
Yeah. It's raining here in Redmond. What's it doing in Bend?
Trying to rain where I'm at.
Yeah.
On the south end, it's not raining right now, but it was raining when I came home earlier.
Yeah.
We're supposed to have thunderstorms today too, Beverly. I don't know if that's what you meant by storming,
Yeah.
but that's what we're supposed to have here too.
Debbie, how are you doing?
I'm doing okay. We
Yeah.
got to use our community pool every day last week.
Good.
And so it was good to be in there again.
Yeah. Awesome. Good. Hey, Michael, how are you?
Good, Keith. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. Doing great.
See, unlike y'all, I had a nice nap and it is now 6 o'clock and it's cocktail time.
So show us what you got. What's the cocktail that you're
This
sporting?
is a Bloody Mary.
Yeah. Well, some of
Starts
us
my
don't.
day.
Some of us might not have to wait till 6 o'clock to start that.
Well, I took a hour and a half nap at 3, and then I got up and watched a little bit of Fox News, and I did laundry. My wife threatened me if I didn't do laundry, and so I got everything done.
Oh, good. Well, it's out, I know your wife, and I wonder if I believe that she threatened you, but anyway.
To no avail.
Hey, Greg, how are you doing?
Doing good.
Good? Yeah? You guys getting along all right?
No, but we're here. I mean, I'm here anyway.
Yeah.
Almost taking a nap.
Oh, good. Well, it's good to see you, buddy. Well, I don't have much of an agenda today. We'll kick this off and I'll kind of keep an eye out for other folks if they want to come in. I didn't expect too many people today because I got a lot of messages back from people that had other things like Lanae had some kind of eye something happened to her eyes and she had to go to the eye doctor quickly. So we'll be thinking about her. And then, oh, here's Joyce and Michelle. A couple more people here. Hey, guys.
Hey,
How you doing, Joyce?
fine, fine.
Good, good. We'll let Michelle, hey, Michelle, can you hear us?
Yes, thank you.
Good, good, good. Well, I was just getting started and, I didn't expect too many on here today because we've got some things coming up. I got a lot of messages from people who weren't able to make it today, but I sure appreciate all of you coming on here. And so we're going to kind of do a free for all today. I usually, as everybody knows, we almost always have somebody scheduled for these meetings. And the next one we do as well, the next few actually. But today I kind of wanted to just have a free for all and talk about a few things. And then I'd like to give the mic over to a couple of people to tell their story a little bit, if that's okay, because it's always good to hear what's going on with other people, hear their stories. And I see this whole group as a group that has gotten through their stroke and then carried on and done a lot of amazing things. I look at around the room here and I see a lot of people who have and are. And anyway, it's just important to share some of those messages. So appreciate you guys all being here. Like I said, for those of you like Beverly, now do you go with Beverly or Bev?
Bev is fine, yeah.
Okay. I just gonna assume right in there and say Bev. I don't know what you know about Stroke Awareness Oregon specifically or not. But I like to kind of start off by saying we're just a nonprofit. We started just a few years ago. Our focus is on stroke awareness, collaboration with the hospitals and different organizations out there who support stroke survivors. And then recovery is one of our big pillars, if you will, of what we do. Let's see. I guess that was it. So we like to have fun too, and a lot of people like to make fun of the host. So
With you?
pay no attention to that if that happens, Bev.
Okay.
So I'm going to kick this off with Alicia because Alicia is on her way to a meeting and I'd like to get her in here. She's going to talk a little bit about the Young People Support Group. So are you set, Alicia?
Earl?
Yep, I am driving to physical therapy, but like I said, I would hop on here on my way.
He's all right.
So have you kind of
I
got
don't have a mount or anything, so I'm just trying to set my. Oh, what'd you say?
I said, do you have a kind of a thought process or guidelines on what the Young People Stroke Support Group is going to be about?
Oh yeah.
We must not have a very good connection.
No, I met with you and Elise veteran for SAO.
Joyce's eye.
Uh-oh, is it cutting out?
Yeah,
It could.
yeah. Alicia, I'm just gonna kind of take the ball. Do you have a date set yet? Not, we're missing her, but so here's what's going on. We met at Stroke Awareness Oregon and we talked with Alicia, who's going to head up a young people's support group. And so, we found a lot of folks out there who are younger who want to have their own stroke support group. And so Alicia is going to head that up. And so she's working with Elise at the office to get something scheduled. So all I would say is, I don't think we have a date yet set. I'll get with her and I'll send out a message to everybody on that. But it's going to be a good thing for younger stroke survivors who can't always relate to, what we may be going through as a community, who are a little older and they're young and they're just getting started in life, and there's a lot of differences. So we thought it'd be good to start this new stroke survivor group, and Alicia has offered to head that up. And so we're looking forward to having that get started. So I just wanted to make sure everybody was aware of that.
What if we want to attend with the younger people instead of all y'all old farts?
Well, Michael, I hate to tell you, buddy, but you're in with us.
Maybe once in a while, the young people in the older group could get together once in a while.
Absolutely. Alicia, are you back online?
Yes, I'm here. I'm just getting off the Revere exit in a second. So I'm not sure what happened. I lost connection, and I think it's the weather.
Okay. Well, Alicia put a note on there, Michael. It said if you're 50 or younger, you can belong.
Well, I make it by 1 year then.
That's awesome.
We wanted to include Keith also, because Keith, I know, like, I'll still attend these meetings, and hopefully some of the younger people will as well. We're not going to completely split off and make be separate from this. It'll be in addition to, kind of like the men's group. So just a place where we can go and have the ability to talk about things that you guys wouldn't be interested in.
What are you
You
talking
never
about?
know. I mean, what would we not be interested in? I'm
Starting a
curious.
career, having children, getting married, like the things that
I
the
guess.
younger people do that you've probably already done a long time ago.
Well, I guess
Bummer.
she makes a pretty good point on that, Michael.
I think I told Keith that what sparked this as an idea for me a while back was someone in here mentioned Medicare, and I just kind of went, what? Like I'm 36. I was 34 when I had my strokes, and it is that right there is just something that I can't even relate to at all, and I hopefully don't have to for a long time. So that was my reasoning for realizing that this is something that we could do. So hopefully it ends up being successful.
It'll be successful, Alicia. I hate to say this, but I might be a little offended by what you said, but it's okay. It's okay.
I mean, I think you have to be like retirement age, right? Like legal retirement age to receive Medicare, right? Or be disabled, considered disabled.
Yes, 2 years. You have to wait 2 years from them determining that you're disabled.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, they I know some other young people might qualify, but I definitely don't. Fortunately and unfortunately. No, they kind of kicked me to the curb with everything right away. So
Yeah. No, I think a young people support group is a good idea, actually. I'm very supportive of it, Alicia, and you'll do a great job, and we're excited for you. And if there's anything any of us can do to help, let us know, and we'll chime in there and do what we can. Okay.
Okay. And like I said, I'll still be here. I don't want to leave you guys. You guys have become my friends and kind of like a family over this past pandemic year.
Yeah. It's been a crazy year. I'm going to make a note here on something else. So, okay. Well, thanks, Alicia. You're probably, I don't know what time your meeting is. So.
Oh, physical therapy is at 3:30. I didn't want to be like talking to you guys and then have to get up and leave. So I just left early. so
Okay.
that I could basically, my goal was to be in the parking lot there before I had to talk, but that didn't happen.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we appreciate your insight on that. I also want to mention, and some of you guys, of course, you're welcome to fly to Central Oregon and check this out, just so you know. But we're gonna have a barbecue on.
Can we find?
We're gonna have a barbecue on August 10th. Same time as we start this meeting at 3 o'clock. We'll run it from 3 to 5. And so it'll be good to have everybody there, and you can bring family members, whatever. We just want to have a good party for all of us who are, in the stroke community, and just support one another and enjoy a barbecue. So, all right. Let's see. Oh, we definitely wanted to thank everybody and, just say we really appreciate everybody. Michelle, I'm gonna mute you for a few minutes, okay?
All right.
So we're gonna shoot, I left. So SAO was able to make, my gosh, Keith, about 30,000 on our auction,
Oh,
which is a big deal, right? And so, of course, we'll be using that money to continue to support the stroke community and all the projects that we're running. And so I'd say that was a pretty good auction that we had. So thank you guys, all of you guys who, either got the word out or just for participating in whatever form you did. I think that's fabulous, and we're very appreciative of it. So just so you guys all know, I am recording this, so I'll be sending this out to everybody. Now, Beverly, are you on? Okay. And of course, Michael, all you guys are getting the notices, right?
Yes.
For this. Okay, so you'll get the follow-up on all this. Next meeting is June 22nd. We're going to have Carol Ann with Destination Rehab speak and give a presentation then as well. We've got some really good people that are going to be coming up. Stroke survivors. I've got a list of stroke survivors from all over the country who are going to be talking, some younger, some older. We've had some great meetings, and we're going to continue to do that and just continue to build on this and support one another. So I feel really good about where we're going. Let's see. The men's group. I think I mentioned that, but we are going to start our men's group. And July 6th, I think, is going to be the re-kickoff, if you will, of that at 4 o'clock. I'll be reaching out to all the guys on this. Michael, we may be able to even do, a Zoom or something. I could bring my phone or something and do that too, if you'd like. One of the whole purposes when we started the men's group is I just felt like we kind of needed an area for guys to go, because us guys, sometimes we like to just shoot the breeze amongst ourselves. And so that's why we started that. And, Bill, did you enjoy the men's group when we were doing it?
Yes, in person, it was really, really good.
Yeah. So we're going to get started again, assuming that, the whole COVID thing will relax a little bit more and we can actually do that. And I'm really looking forward to that. That'll be a lot of fun again. So I want to go back now. I would like to have a few of you guys talk. Now, one of the things is, Jock, can you hear me really well?
I can hear you, yep.
And we can hear you. I'd love to hear your story today, because we've talked about having you speak and just tell your own story a little bit. And I know I'm putting you on the spot, but I'd like to do that with a couple of you guys today, and just give a sense of encouragement and what happened and all that. So would you mind taking that?
Sure, I could do that or take a shot at it. I also have my fine assistant here who can help me if I blow
Forget.
something.
He says that, so I'll keep cooking.
All right, well, kick it off, Jack.
Okay, well, it all started with I was trying to help my kids move, and we were doing fun things like lifting pianos and moving them onto trucks and some other heavy stuff like that. And what's that?
I told you not to do it because you didn't look good.
Oh,
I told him not to help because he didn't look so good that day. And finally, we compromised on only work till noon, and he went till 6 o'clock.
Well, I don't know what you're talking about, Karen. I don't know any guy that doesn't do what his wife tells him right off the bat.
yeah.
Man, okay, continue.
Anyway, so we went ahead and did that. I was worn out and I just kind of crashed the end of that day. And then for the next several days after that, I was just asleep. I didn't want to wake up. So I just mostly laid on the bed. And then finally, what happened with you and Seth?
The kids were gonna move in, so I just needed Jock to cut a small shelf, and he's a woodworker, so that's not a big deal for him. But he ended up taking, so long to cut it, and he cut it exactly opposite of what he should have cut. It was some simple thing like 27-inch board, cut it in half. And I finally got frustrated, so I left him and I came back later and the board was cut wrong. And I said, "Why, what are you doing?" He said, "I don't know." So that was kind of weird.
I fussed with that board for quite a while and it just nothing fit. So I went ahead and cut it just exactly wrong.
And
So
my
that
son
was
said, "Go to the
when
doctor."
that was when Karen and our son both said he needs to go to the doctor. So I did, and the doctor, we carried on a nice conversation, and he said, well, I had just had a physical 2 weeks or so before that, and everything was fine. And we talked, and he said, well, I don't really think there's anything wrong with you, but would you mind if I took an MRI? And so he signed me up for an MRI and I went and took it. And then a day later, he called and said, Jock, you had a stroke. And I was like, what?
Small.
So that was the start of it.
But still.
It was small. I went back into the office and saw him again. And
he continued to sleep.
I continued to sleep
a lot. And in hindsight, we just recently thought back to the previous July. This was the end of October. And we'd been going to our tax guy in downtown Redmond. And we gave the guy a call. We had not met him before. We just heard he was good and was going to him. And so Jock was talking to him. I have gotten so used to Jock's kind of a slow mover, and allergy season comes and he's kind of slow. But the minute he said something to Mr. Nissen, was his name, he said, Mr. Elliott, are you okay? And the second he said that, I thought, no, but I was so, okay, I'm not going to keep hounding you. But Jock was talking like he had molasses in his mouth. And I didn't think much about it. So I told Jock to pull over and I was going to drive.
Yeah,
It's like that did it.
Pull over, I'm driving.
And we think in hindsight that he may have had a TIA or a even smaller episode of some kind at that time. And it
Mhm.
all makes sense because he was sleeping so much all the time. But we just, you get used to things and you slough them off, but we're pretty sure. So yeah, and it's been months, and so fortunate we both are that it was a small, and so he didn't have any facial distortion or impairment in his limbs. So we tended to kind of think, oh, well, it was like no bruises, no nothing, so you're fine. But we're looking back over the last several months and realized, hey, there's really something to this. And you really did have a stroke. So, yeah.
Yeah.
And
Are you still having to sleep quite a bit, Jock?
not as much, no. I can pretty much be up all day now. A 2 or 3 weeks ago, I was still liking to take naps. Now I just seem to work right through them. And it kind of works better for me that way because then I tend to sleep like a rock through the night.
Yeah.
And
He also started noticing that quick movement, too much noise, too many things
Mhm.
going on. We were both trying to act like he's just perfectly normal, like he had a bad cold. Because it wasn't so severe that we saw physical manifestations of it. However, he finally told me, even driving into town, I've been doing all the driving for the most part, but we'd get home and he'd be exhausted. And he said, light and quick movement, watching the traffic, all that stuff did have an impact.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
yeah, and if I get in a group where there's lots of talking going on and multiple people speaking at the same time, it just rattles my cage, I guess.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah.
There's a lot of messages there. I, Emma and I live in Touchmark. We're surrounded by old people, really old people. They're at least 35, if not older than that. And within my first 6 months, I had given a presentation using a predecessor of the little card, the FAST card, face, arms,
Oh,
Mhm.
Each, yeah.
speech, and time.
Mhm.
And I didn't get the sense that it was well received. Probably was because of me talking, but be that as it may, this past week I had one of the staff come to me and ask me to repeat that presentation because there's been a lot of turnover and new people. And there have been several instances of people who said on Monday morning, I wasn't feeling well Friday, but I decided to let it go until Monday. I didn't want to go to the doctor or the hospital on the weekend. And next thing you know, they get diagnosed with a stroke, and they wasted not just
Days.
hours, but days before something happened to them. I don't think anybody has died that I'm aware of from that, but it's obvious that you just can't stop being on the alert for this. And you're a great example. You suspected something was up, but it wasn't
Enough.
overwhelming.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have to be overwhelming. It can be relatively mild, although I think most of the other people, the people I know anyway, the stroke was a dramatic event,
Mhm.
which is unfortunate because if it's a dramatic event, you're just hoping your friend or spouse or whatever lives to get to the doctor or the
Yeah.
hospital, whatever. And that's not a position you want to be in.
Yeah, that's what happened to Karen's brother.
He had the major one, but hindsight, is 2020. But looking back to that July time of Jock's speech, it's like, oh my gosh, it was so obvious. But I just kind of, well, he's tired, always on allergy medicine. But if that ever happened to anybody again, I would go straight to the doctor. And a fireman friend said, we'd rather have 1,000 false alarms than one where we should have acted.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully God will send you on a mission and you'll get a chance to step in on somebody, who says, oh, I'm not feeling well. And you say, hey,
We're going
No,
anyway.
Yeah.
you're going with us right now.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
just you have my permission and everybody else
Yeah.
in the group. Just jump in and do the right thing.
Mhm.
Yeah,
That's
that's a
that's
good point, Craig.
message.
Yeah, appreciate that.
Before
very
I
much.
go, sorry, I don't want to interrupt, but I have to go into my appointment. But I just wanted to ask Jock one question. Since it's still so fresh for you, did you notice, have you been to the grocery store at all and like gone down an aisle and felt that same feeling like you feel when there's a bunch of people talking or a bunch of stuff going on or a bunch of traffic? I'm
Yeah,
just curious because when I first went to the grocery store like by myself or, tried to walk down an aisle by myself, I felt like the aisles were closing in on me. Like it was just very overwhelming and exhausting.
yeah,
So I was
yeah,
just curious if you felt the same.
yeah,
Yep. Anymore, we've just backed off and he just stays in the car and I go in
Yeah.
because it just wears him out.
Yeah,
Yeah, just all the it's a lot of stimulation.
yeah.
All right, I have to
Well-
go to my appointment. I just wanted to say bye before I left.
Good seeing you,
Bye.
Alicia. We'll see you
Yeah.
next time.
Good to
Okay,
see
bye guys.
you.
good to see you.
Well, thank you guys for sharing on that for sure, Jock and Karen and that's it does show, just like Greg said, that you just never know and people don't think about it. That's why we're working so hard to get the fast message out there, and frankly, even even though you guys have seen that, even, right, Karen?
Oh, yeah.
You still, you don't want it to be you and you don't think it's going to be you. And, here you guys have been focused on Jack
Oh,
and
yeah.
what he's gone through, which is a whole nother story.
Yeah.
But then not to, but his signs were a little bit different. My signs were totally different too. And that does happen as well. But anyway.
I think the bottom line lesson is if anything that we need to stay alert and if anything seems amiss, believe yourself. It is amiss, but you tend to make excuses or you don't want to get fussed up or, oh, I'll be fine. You just can't afford really to do that.
Well, it's like Greg said, those guys are used to you coming in. They'd rather have you come in than not. And,
Yeah.
we're, some of us, now that, now that Alicia's out of here, we can say that, us older school folks, we don't always just run to the hospital the first time something, happens. And we don't think about that, frankly.
Yeah.
Yep,
Yeah.
very true.
Yeah.
Well, stroke awareness, that fact thing, the acronym is, boy, that's something to keep pushing, even if
Yeah.
it seems like, oh, we've been doing that for months or years. It's so important.
Yeah, and
to bring-
the population that sees it and gets it and understands it it's a slow moving process. I mean, you got to drive it home for a long time before it starts really kicking into the community.
Yeah.
Of course, I don't know if it's because we're also active and stuff, but I'm seeing more and more and more stroke survivor stuff and stroke awareness stuff all the time out on the Instagrams and the Facebooks. And because of my business, I'm doing that. I'm sure Michael's doing the same stuff and Joyce is doing some as well. We're seeing more and more stroke information out there, and we're going to get there. We're going to get there, just like, heart attacks and stuff. People are going to be more aware of this. And so we're doing a good job. All of you in this community, all of us together, we are making a difference, believe it or not. And it makes me feel good to know that we are, and proud of all of you guys for stepping up and doing it as well. So
What else is we're seeing is I'm just hearing more and more people having strokes at all ages. I've kind of wondered what is happening because there are really lots.
There's definitely been an upswing in that. I don't have the necessarily the stats on that. I don't know if anybody in here does. But I'm gonna make a note and I'm gonna do some studying on that, and I'll get back to the group on that.
Keith, they say now, I don't know how accurate the stats are, but they have that older people are not having as many strokes today, but younger people are having a lot more strokes. And they said they have basically even themselves even themselves out, and it's still about 800,000 people a year.
Yeah.
You know, I think that needs updating, but that's the latest from our American Stroke Association.
Well, and I talked to a lot of people, a lot of stroke survivors, and I met with a gal who is a young gal last week. Yeah, it was last week. And she said that she feels and has proven, I guess, from the doctor appointments and stuff, that it was stress related.
Yeah.
Now, I know a lot of folks talk about stress, but I hardly ever hear of stress being the factor that causes a stroke. Does anybody have any comments on that?
I think
I
my
have
stroke was stress related.
It was. Yeah.
Well, they kept telling me that it was stress, but actually I have a disease called moyamoya, and that was why I had my strokes. So if I hadn't pushed to find out what was really going on, because it just didn't sit right that it was stress. And they wanted me to quit my job and everything, and I couldn't do that. I honestly didn't feel like I needed to do that. So I pushed and found out that I had moyamoya. Then I was given 2 years to live. And it's now been 21, so.
Yeah.
Right?
And it's M, right? Moya.
Yeah, moyamoya.
I've heard of that.
Moya, Moya. It sounds like a Hawaiian drink, but it isn't.
That's true.
Too many moya moyas.
Gave her a stroke. Yeah. Well, Bill, I've heard your story. And some of you may or may not have. He was a hardworking guy in real estate. And anyway, but I'd like to give Joyce and Beverly a chance. Now, Joyce, are you okay with talking about yours for a minute? Whoop, can't hear you. Oh,
Of course.
okay.
You hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
And now can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. I had sons too. I had I went to the emergency room after March farting, and I had clots in every limb,
Oh.
and that was caused by protein F deficiency and hereditary condition. There is a test. I used to tell everybody there is a test for protein S deficiency. Get it, because that will tell you if you, as one of the factors in protein S deficiency is clotting. So that will tell you one thing. That will tell you if you put a clot. And anyway, I was in the hospital for 3.5 months. Went to Capital Health, which is in Trenton, New Jersey. And Pomona, New Jersey was my mainstay. And a nursing home was afterwards. And that too was in Pittsburgh because I wanted to get home, I wanted to get back. And unbeknownst to me, my partner at the time didn't tell me that I could have gone home earlier. I found out for several Friday, and I could have gone home early, but he was afraid to take me home. So I had he couldn't handle a stroke. And that's what I found out when I come home. Couldn't handle it.
Mhm.
And the last thing he did was a turning point. He said, watch this movie. Watch this movie. And I watched a movie about a husband who kills her, poisons her wife. Her husband poisons her wife. And the next day, under a bed, and a stroke from my son was.
I don't blame you. Yeah, I don't blame you.
Yep. I wrote a book about it, The Tales of the Stroke Patient. And you read that, it was my story about the awful nurses and no, they're not awful, but some of them are awful. Not some of them are really awful, but some of them are awful. And these patients that they had recourse to me.
Yeah.
They were just
Yeah. Hang
And-
on one second. So this is Joyce's book.
Thank you.
So if anybody, wants to get the book, I would suggest doing that. I I love your picture on the back, Joyce.
Oh, that's great.
Isn't that
Yeah.
good?
I was about 20 pounds heavier then. So
Uh, So in her book, it explains a lot of what she's saying, and what a story that is, Joyce. And she does a lot today. She has a blog that she writes, and she's very consistent with it. And
for over 10 years. The
wow,
blog was, yes. Always, now through Daniel, the one who's in charge of stroke focus, I learned that the Sermon TV is about strokes too. So I'll tell you, if you go to my blog, the tab of a stroke patient and more, the tales of a stroke patient and more, it will tell you was a Sermon TV, and the Sermon TV and a channel on YouTube, which gives the stories of so many people, and it's amazing how many people suffered badly.
yeah,
I had a hemorrhagic stroke, not like what spoke before. I forget his name.
today,
Yes, yes.
Jock.
Okay, Josh had it. I had more serious condition. I had hemorrhagic stroke, which means I had bleeding in the brain. I know operation. But I lost the hair. Even so. I went to the hairdresser, and I lost my hair from stress. Traumatic stress. And as the hairdresser said, "You'll grow my hand. Trust me." It was a minute. So it grew my hand, but that was my worst part of it. The fun part of it was spoken reading. What's happening afterward is tough. Like my ear retention and the aphasia, that is worse than anything. And
Yeah.
when I'm writing a blog, when I'm writing anything, the words come to me. It's not something, the words come to me. When
Yeah.
I think of it, it's just a conversation, the words come to me.
Do you type with both hands or one hand?
No. I did a book with one hand.
I'm sorry?
I did the book with one hand.
Yeah,
I always have with one hand now.
yeah.
Very slowly. That book took me 2 years to write. but it wasn't worth it. But
Yeah.
I didn't do the money. I gave them so many books away.
Yeah.
I did it for stroke awareness.
That's awesome. That's
How
awesome.
how do you get her, Joyce, how do you get your book?
For Amazon is good.
Okay,
Thank you.
yep.
Send me a link on that, and I'll send
Oh,
it. I'll send it to everybody.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right now.
And thank you, Joyce. You know, that's an incredible story. Daniel, who she's talking about, I know him, and you know, Joyce, tell Daniel I'll reach out to him. I'm so sorry. I haven't done that in a while, so I'll reach out to Daniel too. Beverly, we got, you know, it's only 3:43. We got another, you know, 5-10 minutes here to, I'd love to hear your story as well. Please.
Well, I'm a retired United Methodist pastor, and I was in my first full-time appointment, and I was getting ready to move to, well, I was going to Oxford, England to do a PhD research project. And so my husband was going to be loading up our storage unit. We were going to sell most of our furniture. He was going to move in with my dad, and I was going to go to Oxford. And about a month before I was due to leave that church, I had my first massive hemorrhagic stroke in 1999.
Oh.
And I arrived in England in a wheelchair. 2 years later, I walked off the plane carrying my own luggage.
Oh man.
But in January of 2000, I had my second stroke. So it was 2 steps forward and 10 steps back. But what I did was, instead of trying to do rehab that they had prescribed for me, I cleaned houses for a living in England because I couldn't preach. They wouldn't let me because they have non-stipendiary pastorates. So unless you're a vicar in their system, you don't get to preach for pay. So I did preach there and ran the youth group and taught Sunday school, and was actually the secretary for the administrative council there, but it was interesting. But I walked everywhere and did all the research, had to be in climate controlled buildings with white gloves and pencil only to do the research because I was using material from the 1700s. So anyway, I did that. I defended the dissertation, but did not get my PhD from Oxford. Instead, I got my doctorate from St. Paul School of Theology in Kansas City later on. But anyway, I went back to America, and from 2001 to 2006, I had 28 TIAs.
20?
And yeah, it was really bad. And the doctor kept saying he knew something else was wrong, but I had a neurologist that really didn't care. And so I kept pushing my doctor to give me a different neurologist, and finally gave me a neurologist who said, I want you to have an angiogram. And so they found out that I had moyamoya, bilateral moyamoya, both sides of my brain. My left side was totally occluded, and my right side, there was a line of gray coming down, and it was going to kill me. I was given 2 years to live in 2004. And obviously I survived that. I pushed and found a doctor in California, Dr. Gary Steinberg at Stanford. And he is the premier doctor. I wrote to him, sent him all my records, and he agreed to do the surgeries. So in 2007, after being appointed to a new church, and I just, started there basically in that July, in 2007, I went and had my surgeries done. I was there 4 weeks. The 5th week, I was back home, and I gave my sermon and did a wedding that weekend when I flew back.
Oh my
Cow.
Wow.
Yeah, and when I first had my stroke, my initial stroke, I was totally paralyzed on my right side. I couldn't think to say anything except that I couldn't breathe. I could breathe, but that was the only words that would come out. When I was working on my doctorate, I couldn't remember how to spell the. I didn't know how it started. I would just sit and stare at the keyboard trying to figure out what was going on. And I do type one finger. So I did my dissertation plus many other academic papers using one hand, one finger, and cut and peck method. But, you know, I made it. I did get my doctorate in 2005. The
Wow.
bishops and district superintendents and all my colleagues said, you need to take disability. And I refused. So I eventually became the disability chair for the conference and did some good work for about 18 years. So
Wow.
God's blessed me. Yeah.
Wow. Wow. What a great story. And thank you for sharing. There's a couple of things that that came to my mind as you're talking. Okay. And I'm not going to even look at my notes. You know, to me, what Bev is saying is that, you know, we all, and we all have different aspects of stroke, right? Different, you know, kinds, different, everything, right? Yours came from Moya, I mean, everything. But what the point that it brought home to me is we have to remember that life isn't over. And whether you believe in God or you don't, it's not my point to say anything, but you're here for a reason. And, you know, grab onto that, find that reason and make the best of it. Make the best of your life. You know, you guys, I had a bad day yesterday. I've had a couple of bad days because I'm trying to get something accomplished and I'm not getting it done. And it's all me. It's just right here that's happening. And the only reason I share that is because I think we all have off days and we got to shake it off and we got to, you know, say to heck with that. And let's get back on track and enjoy life. You know, I mean, we're here, let's enjoy life. And so, you know, that's what I take from what all of you have said. And I so appreciate all of you guys so much. So
We appreciate you, Keith. Man,
thank you.
Thank you.
And real quick, we only have a couple of minutes, but, and Karen, I don't want to take a long time, but how is Jack doing? I mean, you know, part of what Bev was just talking about through her story made me think of Jack.
Me too.
Yeah, because of his, you know, home life situation, frankly.
Yeah. For a few weeks ago, I don't know what his wife did say to him, but it was communicated to me from a reliable source, but he absolutely changed in his countenance and his attitude, like it's over, never going home, not getting better, nothing. And it was awful. It about put me under just to watch him. But since that time, and bless the caregivers' hearts, they have encouraged him and he's coming around a little bit. And he said to us the other day, and a pastor had been in it was designated a fatal motorcycle accident. And he was a year in the hospital and he's out now doing all kinds of things. He's an inspiration. He visited and Jack seems to be coming around. He made it clear to us that he again wants therapy. He wants to get better, but he's just like, I don't know what to do. And we have been told by his wife that we aren't allowed to drive him anywhere or take him anywhere, which is a huge barrier to his social life, to his getting to therapy and stuff. But I just want to grab onto that, these moments where he's on, maybe I can do something. And there is that desire, I think, again. So we just went through a couple pretty tough week with some other things. And I actually thought maybe I was going to have a stroke or a heart attack, but then I just kind of breathing slow and hoping not. But we're going to get back, and I'm not sure what approach to take, but Jack's been told by a couple of people, you're young and there's so much. Once in a while, he'll say words like procrastination, and it's fitting exactly what he's trying to say. And then when Pastor Dan visited him the other day, he called me right after he got back and he said, Karen, that guy's all there. And I said, yes, I know that. So yeah. He's a miracle so far.
Yeah. And I'm gonna, and I'll put this out to all of you in this group here. If we can think of a way, I don't know, as you're telling that, and of course I know Jack's story a lot better than most here, but gosh, if there was a way that we could find somebody that could come do that without any fee. Let me think about this. And
even with
Karen,
the fee, we'll come up, go ahead, but yeah, we've even said we'd pay, but
well, okay, but I see what you're saying. Yeah,
COVID shut us down, but now I've been even thinking if he's got horrible aphasia. It's so frustrating for him because he knows what he wants to say.
Yeah.
But I'm thinking, go ahead. I'm sorry.
We'll continue. I'm just looking at the clock. I'm sorry. I'm not trying to cut you off, but
no, I'm interrupting.
We'll all continue to pray for Jack, is his name. And just, think about it. And if anybody comes up with any thoughts or ideas, please reach out to Karen and Jock. I'm not saying that they will, Karen, but let's all just continue to put some prayer and thought toward him.
Yeah.
He's a great guy. It just breaks my heart. And I don't want to, we better keep moving, but.
Yep. Thank you for that. I think the thoughts and prayers of people, and there's a plan. He 5 different times wasn't supposed to be here and supposed to be on a food tube and no therapy, and yet things are happening. So there's something. He's a tough old Finn, and
it must run in the family.
I guess. I guess.
Quick, let me Joyce put a couple of things in the whatever it's called. She said a new study in the Lancet shows that stroke rates are on the rise worldwide, getting to Michael's point. And if they continue at this pace, an estimated 12 million stroke deaths will occur each year by 2030. Up from about 6 million in 2010. Oh my word.
Wow. You wonder if it's cell phones or water. What is the common denominator? Because that's a huge increase.
Sometimes I wonder if stroke hasn't been noticed as much before,
that could be. Yeah.
113 million people in the US have hypertension.
Oh,
and, I mean, that is 1/3 of our population. And they say that 80% of all strokes are high blood pressure. So, be fast, which I agree with you. It's a wonderful tool, but before we get there, high blood pressure, people have got to check and go to the doctor to get that blood pressure checked.
And let me add, sleep apnea is a big problem for stroke victims. And I had done 2 sleep studies, and I'm now on a BiPAP machine. My oxygen levels were dropping to below 70. And, at night when I was sleeping, and now they're up in the 80s and above. I can breathe now. My allergies aren't as bad. It's just a very difficult situation, but hydrate, rest, and then check blood pressure and sugar just in case, as well as making sure that you get a sleep study.
Yeah, yeah, thank you, Bev. And also, I'm just going to comment on this. My wife is a health coach, and she takes a lot of, anyway, one of the things that's going on in America is we're all pretty healthy, and we eat like crazy and stuff, and we got to pay attention to our health. And nothing, I don't see a change coming on that or anything, but that doesn't help either. So hey, I appreciate all of you guys so much. Thank you all for being here. And
one more thing, thanks to everybody who ever sent it, the package I received. Happy summer. Happy summer.
yeah, you received a package, you're saying, from
SAO.
Yeah.
To wish you a happy summer.
Oh,
That was
awesome. Good. I'll follow through.
Okay, thank you.
I'll follow through with that and make sure everybody knows. We've got a few people on staff now at SAO. I should say, because I'm not one of the staff or anything like that. I am on the board, but we've got some staff members, and there's a lot of good things happening. It's gonna continue to take off and stuff. And anyway, I appreciate all of you. Michael, thank you so much for being on here, buddy. I look forward to, you and I'll have to talk privately sometime too. And Bill, it's so great to see you, buddy. You and Debbie, I miss you guys. And Joyce, same. And of course, Jock and Karen and Michelle and, Bev, thanks for coming on. I appreciate all of you guys so much. Thank you so much. And I'll get the recording out, and we'll see you guys in a couple of weeks, huh?
We all appreciate you.
Yeah,
Very much.
nice
Thank
to
you.
see everybody.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. Bye, guys.
Bye, take
Bye.
care.
Bye-bye.